the gist of it is that Ghislaine Maxwell is, of course, in jail. She has been since July 2nd. And there have been all sorts of back and forth between her camp and Virginia Roberts Giuffre's camp. And the judge agreed to unseal documents that would contain testimony from Virginia Roberts Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell. So on Thursday, we were kind of hopeful because we actually got some of those documents. I was skeptical that we would see any documents at all. Unfortunately, it only contained Virginia Roberts Giuffre's part or side or testimony and some other stuff. I did a video yesterday showing you some things that were on Jeffrey Epstein's message pads, some more from the flight log, some more testimony from other alleged victims, but we didn't have Ghislaine's testimony. And that's really where I suspect we'll learn some things that go beyond what we already know. So I have some bad news. We thought that the judge was only going to delay her part of the release until Monday. That would be tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's not gonna come Monday. So let's dive into that story. I'm really disappointed, but I of course expected this to happen. So this is out of the Tampa Bay Times. Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell wins fight to keep records sealed. For now. Maxwell, already facing federal criminal charges, is also fighting to keep secret her deposition from a 2015 lawsuit. She won another round in that case. So this was published yesterday. Ghislaine Maxwell's controversial deposition from a 2015 lawsuit will remain sealed until at least late September after a federal appeals court agreed late Friday to hear a request to block the release of the deposition by the accused sex trafficker and alleged madam to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. The action by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit effectively stops the release, scheduled for Monday, of a deposition given by Maxwell and another one she once blocked involving a mysterious person known only as J. Doe 1. We now, of course, know that Virginia Roberts Giuffre is Jane Doe 3. Maxwell's appeal will be heard September 22nd. I don't know on what planet Ghislaine Maxwell's team needs until September 22nd to file an appeal. And that's only the day that her appeal will be heard. That could even be pushed back further. Why? We're at the start of August here, so it's essentially, about 2 months that we're going to have to wait for even the appeal. Originally, the judge in this case said that Ghislaine's team had to file something within the week. So a week from this past Thursday is when she said, okay, your team has a week to file an appeal about me unsealing these documents, all of the documents, including Ghislaine Maxwell's part. So now it's going to take 2 months, and now this judge has granted these extra 2 months. Why? It doesn't make any sense. It's completely unnecessary to wait that long. And it's really just yet another injustice that this document unsealing might not happen. Ghislaine Maxwell's team is also saying a variety of very ridiculous things to try to discredit Virginia Roberts Giuffre and just very slimy, disgusting stuff. If Ghislaine Maxwell is innocent, why does she need to trash the other side? Why doesn't she just, show her own evidence? Why doesn't she just, say, let us know, why are you innocent, Ghislaine? There's so much evidence on the other side, so much evidence that she's guilty, testimony that she's guilty. Not only of, a lot of people just say that Ghislaine was Jeffrey Epstein's madam, that she was procuring girls for Jeffrey, but that underplays what we now know, that allegedly Ghislaine Maxwell was also taking place in the rape, assault, sexual assault, abuse of young girls herself. So she's a very disgusting person. She's also a very powerful person. Jeffrey Epstein, incredibly powerful. So these two powerful forces were allegedly working to procure young girls, not women. I actually had some people in the comments of a couple of my YouTube videos about Ghislaine Maxwell say, they're not young girls, they're women. No, they're not women. They're just not. 15, 16, 17, no, they're not women. They're not adults. They're young girls. That's just it. So if you disagree, bye-bye, see the door, or don't watch my stuff. That's it. All right, let's go back here. The release of the documents stems from a pleading by the Miami Herald on behalf of its investigative reporter, Julie K. Brown. And Julie K. Brown, I just want to say, has done a phenomenal job of reporting on this case. She's a huge, huge part of the reason why the case has made as much progress as it has. And also kudos to the Miami Herald. There are very few news outlets, especially local news outlets, that will fund this type of investigative reporting, the filing of court requests and things like that. So definitely kudos to them. So Julie K. Brown, whose Perversion of Justice series in November 2018 spotlighted how Epstein escaped justice in 2008 despite overwhelming evidence that he had sexually abused women and underage girls. Lawyers for the Herald filed a motion Friday opposing any further delay on the document release. The district court made specific, well-reasoned findings on the record, determining that Ms. Maxwell's deposition testimony, among other judicial records, should be unsealed, argued Christine N. Walls with Holland and Knight. To overturn the district court's ruling, Ms. Maxwell will need to show that the court abused its discretion. She cannot do so. U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska this week ordered the unsealing and release of dozens of documents. Let's see here. From a now settled defamation suit involving Virginia Giuffre, who claims Maxwell brought her and other underage girls to Epstein, who sexually abused them and trafficked them to powerful men. Preska chided Maxwell's lawyers for delays and shot down 2 attempts Thursday to slow the release of all documents, which then began trickling out late Thursday night. Now in federal detention in Brooklyn after her July 2nd arrest on federal charges, Maxwell appealed the unsealing of a deposition she gave in the 2015 defamation suit because it is the basis for the perjury charges brought against her in the Southern District of New York. Her lawyers argued before Preska, without presenting proof, that lawyers for Giuffre improperly shared the deposition with federal prosecutors. The broad outlines of the deposition are known. Maxwell is said to have been obstructive, refusing to answer questions about the sexual habits of Epstein or her own personal life. In the transcript of a deposition of Giuffre released Thursday night, the Epstein accuser said under oath that Maxwell lured her from a job at now President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club to become a masseuse for Epstein. Giuffre alleged Maxwell groomed her and others to be sexual playthings for Epstein and friends. Then it talks about the charges against Maxwell. Her lawyers in the civil suit suggested that the deposition had been released to the government by Giuffre's lawyers in violation of a protective order barring its release to law enforcement, suggesting that Maxwell's lawyers might try to challenge the perjury charges she faces in the criminal case. Giuffre's lawyers rejected the accusation as completely and utterly false. So if we know that Ghislaine Maxwell refused to answer certain questions in court, that about her and Epstein's sexual habits, that makes me again ask why. If you're so innocent, why not just answer? Maybe call me naive. I realize that people have the right to invoke the fifth or, whatever, but Ghislaine Maxwell's actions do not scream innocence to me at all, in no way. Maxwell's counsel made no effort to contact us before making these serious charges, nor, as we understand it, did they make any effort to check with the government, Giuffre's lawyers wrote. Ghislaine Maxwell won a major, major victory here. She got the courts to delay the release of this important part of the testimony. On one hand, this testimony might just contain, non-answers. It might not give us any insight at all. But I do have to wonder, if there truly is nothing of note in this testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell's, why are they fighting so hard to block it? Why are they doing everything they can to try to block it? And why have they been given until September 22nd to, for the appeal to be heard? These delays, I think, are just a way of, stopping the release overall. Like, they're going to probably find another reason either to not unseal these documents after all, or to delay, kick the can down the road.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.